So, welcome to episode 100 and lucky 13 of the Campus Comics Cast. Campus Comics Cast is the official podcast for Muddy Monster Comics, located at 1422 Walnut Street in Murfreesboro, Illinois. And we have, after much deliberation, decided that is the correct address because my memory's apparently gotten terrible. But anyway, you can contact the store.
Slippage.
Yeah, you can contact the store through Facebook, or you can call Mike No at 618-457-6011, and the store is open Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And in this episode, we're going to cover the October previews for items generally shipping in December, and I am joined on this episode by
Mike Atchison
and Chad Schubert.
All right, so just as a side note, I have been pricing some comics for Mike to put up on the shelf. So he's got getting close to having a full wooden rack of priced books. He's got more than that, obviously, but of wall books. So some things that have hit the shelf pretty recently were like a Thundercats #1, which surprised me about how much that book's going for now. It was like a first appearance of Scar, Hulk's son, and an issue of What If. Didn't realize that he started in What If. I thought he was just in the whole World War Hulk thing, but our Planet Hulk storyline. Didn't realize that he came out of an issue of What If. So anyway, there's a few really, really good books that are hitting the shelves. So be sure to drop in sometime if you're a back issue collector. So anything we want to talk about before we jump into DC?
I want to ask you, Scott, if that Super Mystery, that Golden Age comic, is still in the racks.
I do not remember. I know there were a couple of them there, and one of them is gone. I don't remember which one is gone. So, yeah, he had a Jungle Action 7, and what's bad is I priced it and then put it up on the shelf, and I said, I probably should buy that. And then I waited, and then last week I went back and said, I'm going to go pick that one up, and then a guy come in and bought it. So. So anyway,
yeah, I was I'm still on. I was on the bubble on that, but I've been gone so much I haven't been able to get to the store to see if it's still there. But hey, and even if I don't, if someone else hears this and they go, you know what, I'm going to snatch that out from Atchison's grasp. Hey, that's their prerogative, that's and right. Good on Mike.
Get there first. If you get to 1422 Walnut Street in Murfreesboro, Illinois, you can snag that from Mike Atchison before he gets it. So that should be your new goal in life. Makes me want to just drive over there tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Is he open Monday? Yeah, I just said no. Tuesday. Oh my gosh, Tuesday. So don't drive there tomorrow because we're recording this on Sunday. So, okay, you know what? We better go on before I get even more lost than I currently am. All right, page 1, DC, Batman, new creative team. Joshua Williamson, who I know best from The Flash, had a long run with Rebirth on The Flash. He's going to take over. I guess Tynion is going to move on. I guess maybe something to do with his Substack stuff that we talked about in the previous episode. I don't know. His name does pop up a couple more times on the DC catalog. But anybody have any thoughts on this change in creative team?
I do. I've just when I think I've got to the point where I'm on a Batman moratorium. I do like Williamson's writing, and I do like that he researches and gets his DC history right, and he's done some good things to kind of unstick some previous writers' stuff. So, not that Tynan did a bad job, but I wasn't a big fan of his most recent stuff with Batman, and I'm willing to give this guy at least this series, this first arc, by Williamson and Jorge Molina. And I wasn't really a big Jorge Jimenez fan either. It looked a little bit too manga-ish to me at times. If he didn't watch himself, he would sort of stray that way. But he's had really good design, but this Molina guy, I'm all in to see his art, and Williamson, like I said.
Yeah, they solicit 2 issues, one for December and one for early in January, issue 119. So it looks like we're going to tie into Batman Inc., Batman Incorporated, and let's start going. I don't know from this reading. Do you think we're getting a new villain or a new organization with Abyss? Because I feel like it's maybe going to be an organization. I don't
Me
know. What does
too.
everybody else think?
Yeah, I was having troubles kind of grasping the person when it was talking about Abyss, so I think it leads towards organization as well.
So it's not 100% clear, but I would say it's going to be one of those cameo first appearance things too, where I think in 118 we're going to have the first maybe mention of Abyss, and then of course the actual maybe some detail or whatever they are going, whatever their appearance is going to be in 119. So some books that you might want to check out. For anybody who likes to collect the Spider-Man 1 homage covers, looks like we got one of the Batman books, the 1 in 25 variant. Looks like it's by Victor Bogdanovic, which is kind of a Spider-Man #1 homage O's for Batman. So sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just sort of agreeing with that. I didn't notice it until now. And I was going to say that never mind. I can't remember what I was going to say before we talked about that. You mentioned the Abyss being an organization. There's currently a bit of a void in criminal organizations in the DC universe because of the events of Event Leviathan. You know, they sort of did away with all of them, just pretty much disbanded or destroyed most of the spy or undercover organization, everything from Spiral to Hive to whatever. So that also leads me to believe this might be a new organization because nature abhors a vacuum.
All right, moving on to page 4, we have Batgirl's #1. I know a lot of people are fans of either Cassandra Cain or Stephanie Brown, who I think, let's see, so Cassandra Cain was Batgirl previously, right? And then Stephanie Brown at some point was Robin. Was that correct, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know a lot of
Yes,
people are fans of these two characters. So they're getting their own series.
It's kind of like Bats of Prey. It's kind of
yeah. It reads like it's a young adult title, but they don't market it as a young adult title. And it even kind of has that look, that art style for a young adult.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's in the DC universe proper. So
yeah, it's hard to tell because like the Harley Quinn book has a very young adult art style to it as well, and is not, I don't think so. So it's hard to tell.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it was detective right. One of the Batgirls or one of the Batman books had Batgirls as a just an extra story in the book, and I read a few of them in there. It starred both Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown. Maybe it was some of the new or the future state stuff, but anyway, there was enough that I think I would enjoy it.
Cool. I like the idea that they're using the like pickup story as a kind of a pilot potential for a new series. Then if that's kind of the route that they were trying to take intentionally, maybe is pairing these two up and seeing how they do in a backup story.
And this is going to be a new ongoing. It doesn't list anything about it being 1 of 6 or 1 of 12, so it just says new ongoing series. So we'll see how long that sticks around. Speaking of ongoing series, Detective Comics 1047 starts a weekly 12-issue story arc, if I read that correctly. Yeah, 12-part weekly Detective Comics events. So if you want to pick this all up, get out your pocketbooks because you're looking at $5 a week for 12 straight weeks. So I'm not sure that's a pretty heavy investment, I think. But what do I know?
Have you noticed that DC started to count their months, the middle of one month to the middle of the next month instead of the 1st through the 30th these days?
I have not.
Because last previews there was like the first 2 weeks of December were in that one and don't repeat in here at all whatsoever. And this new weekly series in Detective only solicits the first 2 issues, but they're the first 2 weeks of January. So I don't know where the rest of this is. It just seems like their flow is off in these preview books to kind of half of one month and half of another month.
Well, I think there for a while, it felt like they were behind And now maybe they're just trying to play catch up. But like the Batman 118 is listed for December 7th.
Oh,
so that's pretty early in pretty
that's
early
true.
in
Good point.
December. Yeah. So I kind of felt like they were just kind of soliciting further ahead. But you may be right. They maybe have just kind of switched their focus, or I think they just whatever they know is going to be out. I think they're just sticking it in here.
And they don't resolicit so if you have a book that's like a December book in a catalog, order it then because it's not coming back up during its kind of proper month. It doesn't seem like.
Well, if they don't get me for anything else, it'll be for the painted covers.
Yeah.
I don't know who Irvin Rodriguez is, but these are magnificent.
Yes.
Very, just that painted quality makes them look like real people, and even the Dick Grayson, the Nightwing, he has a resemblance to the Titans, the actor that plays Robin / Nightwing on Titans, and Harley Quinn on Detective Comics 1048. That, I mean, not the she really not like it looks like
Margot Robbie or anything.
Margot Robbie, but they've captured the essence of that character in that painted cover. So
yeah,
I'm not necessarily a cover buyer, but it will lure me into buying an issue that I will eventually read. So
I do also like the fact that they're doing something a little bit different with Harley Quinn in this issue 1048. She's not there she's more there for her psychiatric as opposed to being psychotic, because anyway, the story breakdown is that Arkham Asylum is gone. We now have Arkham Tower, and we have who may be a new character, I don't know, Dr. Ware, who has his own methods for treating the criminally insane. And of course, the Bat family thinks that maybe there's something not quite on the up and up. But issue 1048 indicates that before the Bat family could even get in there, Dr. Harleen Quinn makes her presence known there, who obviously the reader knows best as Harley Quinn. So I don't know, could be interesting.
Hey, you know what though? Now I'm feeling a bit abashed. I'm reading the fine print, and I mean it's really fine under both of these cover images, and it has those three dreaded words. Final cover. Right. Okay, DC, you just ticked me off.
Well, maybe that means it can only get better, Mike.
Let's hope.
Page 9, we've got the Justice League 2021 annual #1, and I was going to flip right past this until I saw 4 magic little letters, OMAC. So OMAC, which I don't know that we've seen anything of OMAC since the start of New 52. And hopefully they're going to go back to more of the original idea behind OMAC, because they do specifically mention Jack Kirby. I would say this is his greatest creation.
But, I know. I was like, okay, I might be stretching it there, fellas or ladies. He's had a lot of great creations, but I wouldn't say OMAC was his greatest.
Greatest part, yeah. So that's one of those things I still really haven't. I mean, I know the general concept behind OMAC. I have the entire series, and I haven't read it. I keep waiting for it to get like a collected edition, and I just haven't picked one up yet.
I enjoy the cover here. Again, it's not final cover art, but the depiction of Wonder Woman gives her that exotic look that you see a little bit more of once in a while, depending on the artist. So I enjoy that. But again, it's not the final cover. Let's hope it keeps the same theme. Of course, I'm a Justice League guy, so I'll be getting this.
Anything for page 12? Nope.
Dark Knight Steel. I know we talked about this before. I'm just waiting on this to come, probably in a trade format. Again, it's mixing a lot of my favorite genres: superheroes, fantasy, science fiction, whatever. So, again, if anybody's getting, it's 12 issues, so it'll be a couple of trades, or you can wait for digital as well if you're a subscriber. That's probably all I have till then. Yeah.
All right. So page 12, we have Swamp Thing, Green Hell, and I think the big selling point for this book is written by Jeff Lemire. So, be interesting to see what he can do with the Swamp Thing character. There is a little bit of hint about something to do with Alec Holland, and we haven't had Alec Holland, I think, as Swamp Thing in a little while.
Seems like they're pitting Swamp Thing against like a giant threat in this that doesn't seem like it's probably I don't know, I'm curious how they're going to make it all fit, because it seems like it's a big world world dominating threat that could be big enough to have a larger team take on potentially, but Swamp Thing's the one for the job on this one, so I'm curious to see how they do it. This is evidently Jeff Lemire's last work for the Big Two for a little bit, he said, according to him at least.
Okay. Really?
He's working. He's also has a Substack, so I don't know if he's tucking away into that or if
he's got tons of books at like Image.
He's got Dark Horse and an Image.
Dark Horse, he's got books everywhere right now. So
yeah.
Of course, I don't see one thing. I'm kind of surprised I don't see any mention like of the Rot or the Red, which were like a couple of the concepts that did stick around for a little. Although they are the Parliament.
Yeah, the Red and the Rot and the Green.
Okay, all right. So there they are.
All of them.
Okay, so it's all tying into that. So I'm glad they're keeping that around. And this is going to be a Black Label book. So 3-issue series.
Yeah, it's the oversized, the Prestige Plus. So it's you definitely get for $6.99. You get your money's worth, comparatively speaking, at least.
All right. Page 16. Unless you want to talk about World of Krypton.
This one, World of Krypton is just sort of, there's nostalgia there because that might have been, was that maybe the first miniseries that came out, World of Krypton?
I thought
was
no, there's something before. I don't know if there was Contest of Champions, but I can't remember if that was just Marvel's first mini or
it was right around the same era, late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, that's I thought about getting this, but again, I'm not I don't know. I'm not a big Michael Avon Oeming fan, so that might be what puts me off.
But on page 16, I don't think I like this concept at all. But anyway, we have One Star Squadron. So it's written by Mark Russell. And you're going to have to help me here, Mike, because I do not know most of these characters. Okay, of course, I know Power Girl and Red Tornado and Firehawk. But who are the rest of these characters on the cover? Bust out knowledge for me.
The Heckler. I think the guy with the ha 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 on his jacket is one of those. I think it might be the Heckler from the 80s and 90s. Okay. Then the guy that's kind of looks like a piece of paper folded up. There was
it's $1. It's money.
A folding man or something. Sorry.
Oh, okay. It's money, because there's money falling from the sky. They're making it rain,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, the guy that's shaped like a paper, he's all angles.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong side. Yeah. Okay.
Then you've got Firehawk.
I do Firehawk.
And I don't know if that almost looks like the with the furry mask, and I believe the Flying Fox was the Flying Fox.
Okay.
I think he was from the Roy Thomas Young All Stars.
Okay. The guy with the red helmet. What about him on the far left?
Kind of look like Judge Dredd, but I know it can't be him, so I don't know who it is.
Okay, and the guy on the right with like the, I don't know, almost looks like an eye on his chest, but like the white line down his chest.
Yeah, I don't know that one either.
Okay, good. Then I don't feel so bad.
Yeah. They got some weird pulls here.
Yeah, so they got some deep cuts apparently in this, but I don't know. It kind of is odd, It's just like I can't imagine Power Girl spending her time, being a manager of a business. So I don't know. It just seems like a really, really weird concept. So I don't know what to think of it. And I don't see Hawk and Dove, pulling guard duty at a pharmaceuticals convention either, So I got some questions about this series. It's probably going to be played more for laughs than anything else. And while some of these characters,
I'm just okay with the premise, but not necessarily with these characters. I mean, they've done this before with the Conglomerate, and some of the Booster Gold related comics. Okay. Some of the interior art here, you can see Plastic Man. You could probably believe that he would be interested in this. Red Tornado's, he's an android, so I don't see there being any. And I think the robot looking guy in the middle, and then you see the military garb. In the bottom right panel, that reminds me of G.I. Robot.
Right, that's what I would guess that would be.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll get it just to see what this is all about.
Okay, you can let us know.
Absolutely. We'll do an in-depth deep dive review of it.
Okay, and believe it or not, I don't have anything else in the DC catalog, so you guys go.
I've got 30.
You go right ahead because I might be done as well. No, I
Okay.
think I got some in the back, so go ahead.
Okay. On 30 is Green Arrow Stranded. It appears to be like an origin story of Green Arrow. If you're a new reader, if you've got a new reader for Green Arrow interested in that, this seems like a kind of a one kind of stop. 144 pages for $10. I thought that was a pretty good deal for a story, and it seems like the artwork looks good. I'm not familiar with either the writer Brendan Deenan or the artist Bell Hosalia. But I think I'll pick this up because I like Green Arrow, and it might be a good read, or it might be a good thing to pass along to somebody.
Yeah, it felt like it was just another retelling of year one. So, but just earlier, and with, I guess, a few more survivors. So either that or he was lost on an island twice. So
Right.
he should just not travel. Yeah, he shouldn't travel.
Then on 33, Batman 89 is ending with issue 6. I guess it was always planned to be a mini, but that's been just a cool little nostalgia book, and I wanted to mention that it is ending for now, at least.
I think I'm done as well.
Okay.
Stuff, but it's just stuff that continuing series that I've been getting, but nothing really new and interesting to talk about, I don't think.
I'm all done too.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'm just doing my last little bit flip through, just make sure something doesn't jump out at me, but I'm not really seeing anything. So, all right, Marvel. All right. So Marvel's got their next big event, Devil's Reign. Focuses on Daredevil and Kingpin's relationship, and it's actually a story we've heard several times. Wilson Fisk wants to know who Daredevil actually is, and we've had multiple instances where Matt Murdock's identity has been revealed to the world, and then something happens where everybody forgets. But we're back to now. Basically, Wilson Fisk is threatening Daredevil: either tell me who you are, or there'll be consequences. And Daredevil tells him, I have a secret identity, so we're going to get those consequences in a 6-issue series. It is written by Zdarsky, who has been, at the helm of Daredevil up through issue 36, which is ending the final issue. So I think we're going to get some of the fallout from his run here. And as we can see, it appears that Matt Murdock is out of prison. So spoiler, surprise, he gets out of jail.
And that's why he had Elektra take over the mantle of Daredevil, correct? He was
that's right. Yeah.
Yep. So,
and I'm going to get this. It looks accessible to me, and it doesn't appear to be. I haven't looked through the catalog very closely, but as long as there's like not 50 different crossovers that force you to read them as well, I'd be
at
okay
this
with
point, I don't
issue.
see there were any crossovers that were specifically, marked. At least I didn't notice any that were marked as Devil's Reign crossovers. So It appears to be a self-contained event, which is kind of nice. Of course, that means it's going to have no real consequences, but it's always nice to have some kind of a self-contained story. So 2 issues solicited for this catalog, issue 1 and 2. I am looking for the release dates, and I'm not seeing them.
It doesn't look like they have any.
Okay, good. Then I don't feel so bad.
You're not missing anything.
Okay, good. All right. So I didn't know if they were just soliciting early or not. So then on page 8, we have Marvel leaning heavily into Kang at this point. So I guess he just wrapped up his 5-issue series, and now we have a one-shot Timeless with lots and lots and lots of covers. So if you're a big Kang fan, you can pick up this book along with about 10 variant covers. So you can have 11 copies of the same story.
And he's fighting time.
The fighting time or biting time is what I want to know.
Right.
Yeah. Page 10, Avengers Forever. This is going to be volume 2 of this title, because we did have a 12-issue series, Avengers Forever, back in the day from Kurt Busiek, where you have the multiverse in Marvel, which they not too terribly long ago destroyed their multiverse, and now it's already blossomed into the mess that it is now, with all the crossovers and what ifs and everything. So this is going to be. It says it's an ongoing. I can't imagine that it would go more than 12 issues at the absolute longest, which would be a nice homage to the original series, which was a 12-issue series. But you got a chance to pull in various characters from past events, so it's almost like Marvel's Infinite State. So to either company, I always look at what the other one's doing and think, oh, we should do that too. So here we go. So we have Infinite State for Marvel.
So my question is, do they have a roadmap to the multiverse at Marvel? Do they have a version of, say, the multiverse at DC where they have numbers for the Earths and you can kind of keep track that way, or is it just
they have that? The proper Marvel universe is 616, because that's the area code of New York. I was looking for, like, I know it's on the cover was American Dream, who is the the daughter of Steve Rogers and Sharon Carter, who is named Shannon Carter. And I think her Earth was 982. So I don't know if those are listed anywhere specifically. I don't think they limit it, because they were for a long time. DC had their 52, Earths. I'm just the OCD in me likes to catalog things and put everything in its nice little cubby hole. I'm sure that's what that's not ever been printed in anything that I have read.
It would help keep track, especially if you're not just completely, immersed or knowledgeable of every iteration of every Avengers team or every character. It would help you just relate to, okay, that's the Avengers from Earth 7, and what makes them unique is this. That helps access the content better and understand it.
Yeah, I don't know they have anything. You just have to, for example, I'm looking at, here's the Daredevil from Earth X, which was that Alex Ross, Bill Reinhold, Kruger series that was Earth X, Paradise X, Universe X. There's the Steve Rogers from that, and then you have
I see that. So that okay.
So it's just all over the place.
Well, there's maybe some fanboy or fangirl somewhere that can put together that little little index
outlines and say which I couldn't even name all these characters. So when I first glanced at it, I just saw the Shield and said, oh, well, there's Steve Rogers, and I realized, looking a little bit more closely, that we have 3 Shields. in this one, we have the Earth X Steve Rogers. I think that's Killraven, with it kind of in the middle right, and then just below that was Shannon Carter, the American Dream. So, and then you go over to the next page and you see Ant-Man in the middle, but that's not Hank Pym or Scott Lang. That's Tony Stark.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just listen. So this is, I think this is just one of those. It's probably something that might be fun for somebody, but I started reading all the Spider-Verse stuff where, was it Dan Slott? I think Dan Slott brought in all the variations of Spider-Man, and that kind of led to Into the Spider-Verse movie. But man, it just kind of drug me down a little bit. So if this goes too long, I could see it being a big drag down on me trying to read it. So, and it's written by Jason Aaron, which I don't know that, his later stuff here has been a little bit sillier, I think, than it has been serious. So maybe this is a better fit for him than to try to write one of the proper, Marvel books. So I don't know. I don't know what I think about it. So
it does look like they have cataloged at least quite a bit of it in marvel.fandom.com. We'll give you a listing of all of the different Earth numbers and where they showed up and which issues and all that good stuff. If anybody would care to visit it, it is quite a long list. There's not nice 52 number.
and the thing about it is, and when DC's done this before, they had Crisis where they're going to bring everything down to a single. And Marvel did this with their second Secret Wars, and then it didn't take long. I mean, it's how Miles Morales and Peter Parker end up in the same, universe at the same time. Was from Secret Wars, and now it's just ballooned back out. So I don't know what to think about it. So I'll just
Try
move
not to
on.
think too hard.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have anything until 24.
Well, I'm intrigued by anything with Peach Momoko art, especially if it's not just a cover art, but this Demon Days X-Men. That's I don't know what it's about. They're pretty scant on, on the summary or the solicitations, but hey, I bet Peach Momoko fans might be interested in this. And then I have a question. I have a question about Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, hold on.
15.
Going back to creator's cut, I think this is kind of like a director's cut, because I believe the Demon Days X-Men has already been out. If you turn back a page, you'll see Demon Days Rising Storm, which is a new book from Peach Momoko.
It's a 4 out of 5. She's doing like 5 one-shots, and this is the 4th of that. And then X-Men was the first one, if I remember right.
Right. Well, there was it X-Men, or was it like wasn't there a Psylocke? There was a Psylocke story. I can't remember.
Demon Days was one of them.
Yeah, so Demon Days, which is the one here that we basically have like the notes for that issue. So and then of course the Rising Storm apparently is going to focus on Thor and Storm. So
gotcha.
So back to your question on Spider-Man, which I'm not going to be able to answer.
Oh, the 80 point Bay, BEY.
Okay, so that's the Beyond issue, because there's a Beyond story arc, and Marvel. This is the other stupid thing that Marvel does. They had like issue such and such.mu for like Monsters United. So they have these various storylines. They will put this dot issue, into the story arc. So instead of it just being issue 81, it's 80.BEY for Beyond, and then they have a regular 81. Which for me means it's a book I wouldn't have to read, because it's not part of the proper line unless I just want to read the Beyond story. So if it needs to be part of Beyond, put it in the issue number. Or maybe they just, had some issues arrive, kind of some artists got done early and they didn't want to sit on them for too long because something maybe was going to change. So they felt like they needed to get them out more quickly. I don't know what the thinking is behind it, but it's not like there weren't enough other Spider-Man books in this catalog. So
right.
Yeah, I'm just a little I don't care for that 80.BEY. It just makes things messy. Anything else for 24?
No.
Not me.
Okay, so we got Elektra, Black, White, and Blood, and this is one of those black and white books with one color added in. So I do think that red is an appropriate color for Elektra, though it seems like most of the Marvel books that we're getting are red. Between Wolverine and Carnage and now Elektra, we're getting all black, white, and red books. Sounds like that newspaper joke. But Charles Soule does have a pretty good handle on Daredevil and the character. He did a nice run on Daredevil just prior to Zdarsky. So this is a 4-issue series. If you're a fan of Elektra, it should definitely be worth looking into. 26, we got another Conan title. Again, Jason Aaron, who wrote the first Conan the Barbarian book when Marvel got the license back. So now we got a 6-issue story of King Conan. I enjoyed the Jason Aaron run on Conan. The first 12 issues, I think, I don't know if I read past that or not, but this is, I don't know, I guess this is kind of a later in life Conan, not so much the young upstart that we saw in Conan the Barbarian. Now I don't have anything till 56.
I got 38.
Go.
Yeah, go ahead.
On there. This is, I guess they're kicking off what appears to be just a series of one-shots called Wastelanders. There's one for it's essentially the Old Man Logan premise, which they've done with Old Man Hawkeye and Old Man Star-Lord before. We've seen all 3 of those. We haven't seen a Black Widow or a Doctor Doom, which we get in here, but it appears to be just 5 one-shot books. There's not. I was hoping for a Wastelanders crossover book or something that would be a reason why they were doing this, besides just giving a taste of this in there, and maybe they'll end up with that in next month's solicit. But I kind of read through everything and didn't see where it was hinting towards that.
Yeah, I have, and I haven't spent a lot of time in the Old Man universe myself, so it's just a little bit reading here and there. So
yeah, I read the original Old Man Logan series, and I really enjoyed that. And I read the Old Man Hawkeye series, and I thought that was maybe a little bit of a grab on it all. And I didn't get to Star Lord. I'm sure that was also just kind of feeding off of the same thing a little bit. The concept was really cool when they first came up with it with Logan, but then just kind of feel like just with anything that's successful, you beat it to death.
Yeah. I can't imagine any comic book company doing that. Wait till we start talking about Spawn. Anything else 456?
49. It's X-Men number 6. There is, I guess, a new character called Captain Karoka or
Krakoa is how I would pronounce it, which was the island that they were on.
Yes, yeah. So I guess there was a hidden superhero there the entire time, or there's lore of one and what happened to him and everything. So if you're a collector of first appearances or cameo appearances, I have a feeling that this is going to be another one of those things.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is going to be a personification of the island, is what I'm assuming.
Okay.
That's my guess.
I like that idea.
The living island.
All right, so page 56, we have Phoenix Song Echo number 3, and I started reading where Echo got the Phoenix power, and it really is really anticlimactic. Yeah, I'll not get into it now, but I mentioned this issue because it is Echo meets her maker, the ancestral Phoenix of Cahokia. And since we all live in southern Illinois, we are familiar with the idea of Cahokia Mounds, which is just, about an hour north of the two of you and about 2 hours northwest for me, for Cahokia Mounds. So that just caught my eye when I was flipping through this.
Well, thank you, Scott. I am earmarking this issue because of that alone.
And it makes me wish I had put in pre-orders. So I decided I was just going to read this like as a trade or however, and now I'm wishing that I had picked up all the issues. So I may have to jump online and find issues 1 and 2 and then add number 3.
Well, pad your order and I'll buy some from you with the our normal markup.
Okay. 61. So we have Fantastic Four number 39. I just mentioned this because fans of the Loki TV series, the TVA is back. So they make an appearance here in Fantastic Four number 39. So, and along with the Watcher. So fans of What If also might want to pick up this and see what the current status of the Watcher and the TVA are in the Marvel universe.
Hey, going back to page 58, the Marvels number 7. I just thought this was a 6-issue series, but it's on issue 7 and it doesn't really say. I may have.
Means, don't you?
They changed their mind
well enough to keep going.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, so I guess that's the takeaway from that one.
Has anyone been reading? On page 60. Has anyone been reading The Defenders by Al Ewing?
I have not.
No.
Because that's something I might. It's on issue 4 or 5 now, and I'm thinking that might be a good trade to pick up because it's Al Ewing, and he really showed how well he can dig into the past and pull up obscure characters. So Defenders I always thought it was a cool concept. I like that team.
The non-team team.
The non-team team, right?
So 63, we have Iron Man 15. I just mentioned this because I think I've read up to about issue 8 or 9 at this point. I'm really enjoying the Cantwell run on Iron Man. So now they're up to issue 15. So if you're looking for a pretty good read, that is something I really feel like they're getting Tony Stark back to his roots just a little bit.
Right.
So I think it's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
71 is my next thing.
I'm good over here.
Yeah, I'm good too.
So Star Wars Crimson Reign. This is being advertised as the second part of a trilogy of stories, the first being War of the Bounty Hunters. So you can consider War of the Bounty Hunters to be Star Wars. This would be the Empire Strikes Back equivalent storyline. So Charles Soule, again, on pretty much everything I read of his, I enjoy. So solid writer here. And they talk about bringing in the return of some beloved characters. So we may be seeing, some oddball character from one of the movies pop back in this 5-issue series. And I think I'm done with Marvel.
Same.
Mike,
yeah, only a reference, just a quick. I've always enjoyed. I mean, one of the first Marvel books I ever bought as a kid was the Savage She-Hulk, the original run, and I see that they have an omnibus hardcover written. It's reprinting. It looks like
the entire series.
Yeah, the issues 1 through 25, and then plus a Marvel 2-in-1 number 88. So it's $100, but it would really be something cool to have on your shelf. That's all I had, Scott.
All right. So they do in the back next to not the next last page. They do have all the Penguin Random House contact information for people who have not yet switched their account. All right.
I haven't heard much about that. I haven't heard much about how Penguin's doing as a distributor, if they're packaging well. I mean, that's always, that can be kind of a learning curve for a new, distributor to make sure they don't
officially started yet or not. I don't know what the actual start date of that was supposed to be.
I think it seems like I heard that it would have by now, but I might be wrong. But again, if they're used to just shipping books, they might not be prepared to ship things like comic books, which, as you know, we collectors like to make sure that they're in good shape. We don't want a crumpled comic.
Yep. Oh yeah. All right. Complaint for the big book. Right off the bat.
It's too big.
Very first. No, yeah, that's what it is. No. First page. Keep them safe. Magazine size, current size, Silver Age, Golden Age, bags and boards, which guess what? You cannot order these from Timon right now. And there are at least 3 ads for bags and boards in this catalog, and you cannot get them.
I'm glad you brought that up because that caught my eye too. And every time I turned the page and seen another ad and it said that, it ticked me off again. What's the purpose of it?
Well,
what is the purpose?
Poor planning on their part is probably what a lot of it is. You can get bags, I think, but you cannot get boards right now. So, I just had to overpay. I ran out of boards. I got down to like 150 boards, and it's like I don't want to run out. I don't want to be in the middle of something and not have any. So I paid about double what I should be paying for about 600 boards just so I could have them. And and
I've bought bags and boards online, various. I mean, they're your typical polymer or polypropylene, is it called? Your low end ones, but I've had issues before with the sizing not being just right, and you couldn't fit the equivalent size board into the bag. I mean, it just bowed on you. So
I've only ever had that trouble personally with current size bags and boards. I don't recall ever having that problem with the Silver Age bag and board. But with current size bags and boards from multiple brands, I've had that problem.
I had it with, and I don't remember if it was the board that was too big or the bag that was too small, but it was for silver, which is what I always get.
Oh, okay. That's what I always get. But I had at one time had some currents, and I would even get these currents that are like 2/3 the size. The bag was 2/3 the size that they were supposed to be. It's like, how did this get in here?
The quality check is not.
Yeah. Okay, so page 28. Get off my gripe there. Oh, of course, I'm flipping backwards, page 28, and there's another ad on page 30 for bags and boards. Previews catalog. Especially this month, there'll be way more that we don't talk about than what we do talk about. So if you want to get a good idea about what is going on. And by the way, we're recording this on the 17th, and you're supposed to have your previews order in on the 18th. So if you are listening to this and want to do a pre-order for something, try to do it immediately. So don't wait. All right. My first thing's not till page 46. unless you want to talk about. Actually, okay, I can joke about page 38 here for just a minute.
I was like, I can start with 34.
Okay, go. Good.
There's a new Lady Mechanica series, a little 4-issue for that coming out of Image, and it's a Lady Mechanica prequel. We actually haven't kind of seen her origin story before. I don't think I stopped reading a while back. But in all of that time of reading, I don't think we'd ever seen how she was created, really. So this is a deep into that if you are a Lady Mechanica fan.
I've never read Lady Mechanica, so
it was good.
Was it? Okay.
It didn't get bad. It's wordy. Can get wordy from time to time, more than I prefer.
All right. So 38, we were talking about, I guess too many variations and too many books. So now we have the Scorched, which is the Spawn team to go along with King Spawn and Gunslinger Spawn and Spawn Universe and all those other books. So yeah, why have just one good book whenever you could have 5 adequate books?
Well said. Nice.
46 is my next thing.
Okay.
Good. Okay,
I'm good till 80. So.
Okay, all right. So I'm mentioning this book because I screwed up the first time. So Stray Dogs, Dog Days got a new 2-issue series for Stray Dogs, and I remember specifically on the episode that Stray Dogs was first solicited. I asked Dan because Dan was a dog lover, and I said, Dan, you gonna get Stray Dogs? And he's like, nope. So it's like, okay, I guess I won't get Stray Dogs either. And I have kicked myself ever since because that first issue is hot, hot, hot. So Stray Dogs, here's a new 2-issue series. If you aren't familiar with the premise, we basically have a horror story told from the perspective of the dogs around the whatever's going on. So they also have some pretty nice homage covers to various movies. Stray Dogs, Dog Days #1 has a creep show variant. So that is humorous, and I almost bought. There was like Silence of the Lambs. There were a bunch of homage covers. They were all.
I've been picking them up.
Oh, and that's what they call it. They say this is like Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs, and then it's just if you know a dog is so oblivious to its rudeness and crudeness, and this image of this dog that dug up a human arm bone is just like what a dog would do, man. And so I like the mixture of those elements. And I, like you, Scott, I wish I would have gotten the first series of this. It looked really good, and it didn't make the cut. And I'm like, dang, man. So
I have this unofficial rule. Whenever we make our dollar picks, I will order at a minimum 3 copies of anything we pick for $1, or as our money picks.
Oh,
and that's just my rule. So just in case one of us is right, what is it? A blind pig can find a truffle every once in a while. So that's kind of the way I feel. So like that's why I was expecting Dan to say this was his pick. So I didn't even write it down because I knew Dan was going to pick it, and he didn't do it for me. So it's Dan's fault. So all right, I'll move on.
We always blame the guy that's not here to defend himself.
That's right.
So. Page 50, we have the trade paperback of 6 Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. And I mentioned this because Kyle Starks was nice enough to come to my comic book convention in whatever month that was, September.
Right.
And also another guy who was there, also from Evansville, is actually one of the 6 Sidekicks. They just did a tweak on his name. So that was kind of cool to learn that information. So.
Yeah.
My next thing's not till 111.
I'm also on 80, so.
Right. Oh gosh, you know what? I'll hand my time over to you, Shed.
So this is a concept of what I like about just like really deep world building, where this isn't about the superhero as much as it is the investigation of the past of a superhero.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to have the concept of the superhero and what he's done, and then like jump forward 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. And now we're investigating who the icon was. And I thought that concept was just neat and something I haven't really seen a lot of.
That's a great way to describe it, because I was struggling to I was basically going to read the solicitation because it's a 4-issue series called The Icon by Mike Richardson. And I didn't know his name like at the top of my head, but it says he's the creator of The Mask and producer of the Hellboy film franchise. So he's got to have some chops to be able to do all that. But yeah, the description here and what you just said definitely is what caught my eye, and I'm also getting this. And man, I like the design of this character and his little sidekick. So
Mhm.
yeah, it looks pretty darn good.
And it's got a nice noir feeling to the art. Like you got the one page of preview art on page, what is that, 81?
Mhm.
Was anybody going to talk about 82?
I got 82 as well.
Then
Yeah.
you go on 82. I'll defer
Okay.
as well.
I'm just gonna. There's a sentence in this preview that was like, "Oh, okay, this is what we're dealing with." Descended from a race of cannibalistic giants spawned from the outcasts of heaven. Essentially, this lady's looking for her kid and comes across this group of people, and specifically this giant woman. And it's a 5-issue miniseries called Daisy. Yeah, that sentence alone was like, okay, I'm in. We got cannibalistic giants that are descendants of the fallen angels of heaven. What's up with that?
Yeah, it's also a gem of the month, like the previous thing we talked about. And I also that's a trifecta there, guys. We all three had this earmarked to talk about. So
That's right.
I do like the idea of giants, cannibalistic or not, and their imagery has always been it's just very captivating, whether it be on Game of Thrones or on some other fantasy story or show. But I'm definitely going to get this as well.
Yeah, I did catch my eye, and I guess it's referring to the Nephilim as being the cannibalistic giants, because if you know any of your Old Testament, then you know that Goliath was supposed to be a spawn of one of them. So there you go.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for 111?
I got
Probably
110 actually.
Okay.
110 is the Star Wars High Republic Adventures Annual 2021. What I thought was neat about this is that it's actually not just getting a bunch of new random creators to do these one-off stories in here. They're actually pulling their writers and artists from their other High Republic books that are out there and having them write a one-off. So if you are looking for different areas of the galaxy during this High Republic phase that they're going into, this seems like a cool hopping on point, or just a way to explore, like, I wonder what's going on over in this area. So yeah.
And just kind of a side note for anybody who's really been into the all ages books from IDW, apparently Marvel is pulling these all ages books from IDW. Well, I don't know if they're going to bring them back in house or what, but they may, so what we're seeing now may be the last storylines for IDW's adventures. If they have Star Wars Adventures, was it Marvel Action or Marvel Action Adventures? I can't remember what the other title is, but that this may be the last storylines.
Interesting.
111, we have Dave Stevens, The Rocketeer Artist Edition. Now, this is a second edition of The Rocketeer. This was actually the first book that IDW did as an artist edition, was The Rocketeer. So this is a 10th year for the artist edition anniversary, 40th anniversary for The Rocketeer, all in a single book. And I never did purchase the original one. I looked at it a couple of times and never pulled the trigger on it. So now I get to decide again. Do I want to go for the 40th edition one, or do I want to spend more money and try to track down a actual original Rocketeer artist edition? So
Gotcha.
Do you think the original was the oversized 12-inch by 17-inch, that artist edition?
They've all been that size. They've all been the oversized. Okay. Yeah, because I did have the Walt Simonson Thor one at one time, and it was that size, which I think was like the second or third or fourth one that they did. So yeah, they were all original.
I knew you'd have this mark. That's why I didn't bring it. Yeah. It's tempting. I'd say you should pull the trigger, and then some afternoon we'll go to the shop and you
can just open it up and flip through it, huh?
Yeah. I actually, believe it or not, I'm on 112, so we've got
3 in a row. All right.
Yeah, so Bermuda, I talked about this a few months ago when it first started. It was a miniseries by John Layman, who was known for his writing of Chew, and artist Nick Bradshaw from some Marvel books like X-Men and Wolverine and Spider-Man, or Astonishing Spider-Man. But anyway, it's had a pretty compelling concept. The 16-year-old scrappy young lady is basically trapped on Bermuda, where all of the other things that have been caught in the Bermuda Triangle have gone. And actually, I guess her name's Bermuda. I've never read it. I did, even though I touted it months ago. I never got it, but now that it's in trade paperback, you can definitely count on it. It's going to be in my collection, and it looks like a lot of fun. Very colorful. I really like the colors on that cover. So, and it kind of, that kind of color, those kind of colors really, reflect the tropical nature, of the setting. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I did pick up the first issue of it, and visually it was really good. But there's something about that first issue that didn't pull me like I like a first issue too, and I didn't pick up the second one, so I'm curious as a collection how it ends up reading.
All right,
because I'm not against going back to it.
When it comes in, I'll bring it into the shop that day that Scott's bringing in the Rocketeer Artist Edition. We can all share our books.
That's right.
I probably don't have anything for a while, but
I think 182 is my next one.
Okay, yeah, I'm not anything till 192, so I think you're up.
I'm up. All right.
Yeah.
We've got a new series from Boom called Buckethead, and it is a weird concept of Jumanji-ish, Men in Black, kind of mixed bag of everything they're kind of throwing at it.
And be sure you say that carefully. And I think it's just Buckhead.
Oh, Buckhead, not Buckethead.
Yeah, there you go.
Not like, okay. Not Buckethead like the guitar player that played for Guns N' Roses for a while. Gotcha. Understood. Yes. Buckhead, yes. But you've got a kid that's new, has new friends. They find a video game that is a perfect replica of their town. And they find these men in black that are running around, people that are brainwashed. It reminds me of the reboot of Jumanji, where everything is kind of based through video game-esque, but it brings it to the real world in this. It's kind of a neat concept, especially if you've got a young reader who is into video games and you want to pull them into a book concept that might be familiar to them.
Yeah, I looked at that and didn't put it down, and so I'm glad you mentioned it because I'm back and forth on it. It's like it also is absolutely something that would you could see somebody like Netflix or Hulu turning into a series.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So I'm adding that to my list here. So yeah. 191 for also from Boom. We have Magic number 9, and I have not read a single issue of this series. I bought like the first 4 or 5 just in case. But here we've got the final battle begins as Redacted prepares for their first full appearance. So the magic words, first full appearance. So if magic does ever take off, this would be something that you could pull a, first appearance of a character that thus, shoots it up in value. And then 192, we have Dune, A Whisper of Caladan Seas. This is a one-shot. I always think it's funny whenever they say number 1, when it's a one-shot, it probably should just be Dune, A Whisper of Caladan Seas. But anyway, the premise of this is back, if you are familiar with the Dune book, whenever the Harkonnen come and attack the Atreides on Arrakis, the Arrakis kind of flee into some caves, and the Harkonnen basically bring projectile weapons to trap them in the caves, which is basically where most of the Caladan, soldiers die. But here we have the story of like one of the commanders of the Caladan soldiers basically telling a story of Caladan. And the premise is, I assume this is how he eases their death, but it's a one shot, kind of nicely fits into the Dune storyline without really taking anything away or adding too much that you'd have to know. It is odd that they have 5 covers for this book, but I'm a fan of Dune. I actually just finished today listening on Audible to Dune in preparation of seeing the movie next week. So, so there you go.
I got
That's a movie I
199.
want to get my wife to go to talk her into going to.
Oh, there you go.
Me.
Well, if you want to drive over to Harrisburg, next Thursday, just let me know. I can pick you up a ticket.
All right. I got something on 201.
You said 199, right?
I got 199.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
199 is issue 5 of Basilisk. This is probably one of my favorite series of the year so far. That I've actually read. Not that there's not better ones in the pile, but this is the best one that I've read. And it was a 4-issue miniseries up until this preview. And they have now said that this is the start of a new storyline. So if you missed out on Basilisk at first, this is a new storyline. And pick up the rest of it. I'm sure is going to come in a trade. I don't think it's listed this month, but probably will be next month, I would assume.
And props to Boom for not just giving it a Basilisk : something and starting with the number 1. So props to them.
Right.
Yeah. Mike, you said what, 201?
Yeah, 201. It's Eve. This is like the Bermuda book. It's another young person that's sort of the protagonist, and I remember talking about it when it came out.
What book does that cover make you think of?
Oh, easy, Commandy number 1.
Oh,
I mean, it's obviously meant to be evoking that image.
Far correct.
Except, so Commandy, instead of on the inflatable raft, I don't remember. Does Commandy have any kind of animal or anyone with him on that raft?
I don't think so. Yeah. But I have the internet. I shall check.
Okay, well, while you're checking, I'll talk about this. So this has got a young lady named, I think it's a young lady. Yeah, it might be a young man. I don't know. But Eve, I'm going by the name. So Eve is awoken. It is a girl, yeah. A girl named Eve is awoken.
Nobody else is with Commandy on his
inflatable. So on the cover, she's on a piece of wood. It looks like floating on the ocean. Within the background is the remains of a big city, sort of reminiscent of New York or something. And she's using a stop sign as a paddle, and she's got what appears to be an actual live teddy bear. That's her co-pilot there, her first mate, so to speak. And the story was when it was first solicited, I promoted it's by Boom, or put out by Boom, and I didn't get it, just like I did in Bermuda. But now that it's coming out as a softcover trade paperback, I'm like, okay, this is one big story. I don't know if it'll be good or bad or whatever, but I'm gonna get it. It's the writer is Victor Laval. He's a novelist, and the illustrator is Joe Mi-Young, and based on the cover art, it looks good. So I don't know if, like Bermuda, did you happen to get the first issue of this?
I did. This is one I've been eyeballing though. I saw issue 1 in the shop when it came out, and I've seen it around at shops, and I go, man, I think I want to read that book, but I never picked it up. So yeah, I probably get the trade as well.
And now I can't actually say that the cover would be reflective of the artist on in the interiors, because it's a different artist, Ario and Anadito. So anyway, it looks like it's something worth getting in a trade.
My next thing's 216, so
I'm at 222.
How bad?
Okay. All right, so 216, we have Serial Volume 1, the Glass Tomb trade paperback. I don't know why, but I still have not started this Terry Moore series, which is, out of Rachel Rising, which is my absolute favorite Terry Moore story. And for some reason, I have not started reading this yet. So I need to get on it, because the main series is up to issue 9. So this is the trade is for issues, it doesn't say. So I'm assuming 1 through 5 or 6. But it's about the young child serial killer. So that's the name of the book, Serial.
Yeah, first 5.
And on 217, what do we have? Another ad for Bags and Boys.
I know. I was just going to bring that up.
Which you
But to
can't
make you feel better, Scott, you're probably better than most of us on keeping up with what you want to read, because I don't. I think you need less sleep than most of us.
I don't know about that, but
when I hear about some of the volume of things that both of you read, I'm like, where do they find the time, man?
I've got a pretty good list started here of what for our next, what we've been reading episode. So.
Oh yeah, myself as well. At 222 then, or you got something, Shad?
No, that's fine.
By Aftershock on 222, we have a one shot called Tales of Mother Goose, Mother F Goose, which I'm not sure what the F stands for, but I can guess. Writers Frank Terry, Joe Eisma is the artist. The three little pigs are glutinous casino owners, and Little Miss Muffet is a hard-nosed cop with arachnophobia. The three blind mice are ocularly impaired assassins. Puss in Boots is a feline-faced scumbag. Welcome to Tales of Mother F. Goose. This looks like a riot. It looks like a riot. It's like a one-shot, obviously not for kids, but it's 48 pages for $6.99. I don't know how I can pass this up.
Yeah, I've got it marked to order as well.
we will make you a promise. This is the book that will ruin your childhood. Sorry. Oh goodness. Yeah, what I say I was at? Oh, I'm not till 348, so I got a long time if there's anything. So
I got a 263.
I say go.
Go ahead.
Okay. Behemoth Comics is putting out a book called No Holds Barred, and it is essentially it's William Shakespeare and William Page set in the time that they were alive. And it is kind of a superhero where they have a alter ego superhero called the Bard and the Page. And it's the thing I thought was neat about the series is that it's going to be written in iambic pentameter. So it's going to be written in the form that Shakespeare wrote in for a lot of his stuff.
Wow.
That could be a challenge.
I think so. I would have a challenge with it for sure.
Well, I have 345 earmarked, and I'm trying to figure out which of these books I was going to talk about. I'm pretty sure it's not the Little Book of Legs.
Maybe you forgot to keep that secret note, Mike.
Yeah.
You were probably going to do the history of these comics, is what I.
I would say it'd be the history of this is the history of EC Comics Deluxe hardcover for it's a pretty hefty price, $200, but it is 592 pages, and it gives you, just like the title would imply, it gives you the full history of entertainment comics, eventually known as EC Comics, with some of the most well-known covers and stories in the history of comics leading up to the 1954 Wortham Senate hearings that led to the Comics Code Authority. So if you like a reference book and you have the disposable cash, I'd say pick this up.
Was anybody else going to talk about 348?
No, I had something back on 339,
okay.
but
sorry about that, Shed.
No, you're okay. I changed sticky note color, so I didn't even know where it was at. I was like, oh, that's a different color. What's that mean? I don't have any buy-in on this, but if anybody is buys skeptically on things that are going to be TV shows, the Rise of Dracula issue 1 is solicited, which is the second in a series, I guess. The Cult of Dracula is what this is spinning off of, and Cult of Dracula is going to be a TV series. No news on if it's going to be on Netflix or Sci-Fi or Hulu or who knows what, Shudder maybe. But it appears to be some sort of legal drama mixed with Dracula, because there's courtrooms, and the preview solicit talks a little bit about witness the rise of Dracula in being held accountable, and who knows. But I just thought it'd be important to note in case anybody was looking at the comics that spun out of a TV series or vice versa.
Yeah.
So
You're marking that.
348, we have Cowboy Bebop #1. So this is a comic book based on the Netflix series, based on the anime.
Yes.
And I am not a huge anime fan, but I did watch the first episode of Cowboy Bebop, and I didn't despise it. So that says a lot. I intend to get back to it at some point, but now I can't decide if I just want to wait and watch the Netflix series or if I feel like I should watch the anime before I start the Netflix series. But anyway, irregardless, we have a 4-issue series from Titan, Cowboy Bebop. Again, this is based off of the Netflix series, so it ties into the Netflix series in case there are any differences in world building between the two series, the live action. And then they have like the main character. You can tell it definitely is modeled after John Cho. I had to look up his name from the TV series, not so much the character from the anime. And there are going to be 6 covers to that book for issue #1.
Well,
all right.
And that is everything I have on side 1. So
356 for me, Shad.
yeah, go ahead. I actually have something on there this time too.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try not to. I've got a couple things, but I'll kind of look your way and make sure I'm not talking about yours.
Yo, you're okay.
Was back issue 133 yours?
No.
All right. So back issue 133, and this is, I think I almost always talk about a Tomorrow's publication every month. And this one is a Starmen issue, and it's not limited to just the many characters that had the moniker Starman. It also includes the Star Spangled Kid, the Starjammers, Starstruck, any sort of star theme. And that is right up my alley. I can't wait to get this. And
yeah, and Mike, just so you know, on any episode that you aren't on for previews, we mentioned that Tomorrow is in your honor.
Oh man, that gives me the warm and fuzzies, man. Thanks.
I'm gonna guess how I want to predict what your second one is. The Quality Companion softcover.
You're right, but you know what? Just to be fair, I'm gonna let Shad go next, since we both have items on this page.
Mine is the Brick Journal, issue 72. I don't know how I've missed this all this time, but there's a solicit for a Brick Journal. I'm a Lego guy. And so I was actually just months ago, I was like, Lego, the company used to have a Lego magazine that they put out every month. It was more geared towards children, but I dug it as a kid, and I was like, I wonder if they still do that, and they don't. And I was looking for some sort of, just some regular literature and pictures of stuff that people have built and just ideas and stuff. I thought it would be cool to see that again. And lo and behold, there's the Brick Journal, and it comes out every other month. And so I'm gonna have to start getting this, I think.
That's cool. The only experience I have with Legos is stepping on them.
I've done that too.
Like Scott
he called it.
Said he knows my life. Apparently, he knew I would be talking about the Quality Companion. Now, Alter Ego, or I should say Tomorrow's, they're known for their companion books. There's a series of them going back to the 90s, and they do a really good job of covering the history of different characters and sets of characters and publishers. Well, Quality was a 1940s company that conceived of characters like what we ended up calling today as the Freedom Fighters, because they weren't called the Freedom Fighters until Len Wein came up with that after DC had acquired them. But these are Uncle Sam and Phantom Lady, Black Condor, the Ray, Human Bomb, and Doll Man. And as well as Plastic Man and the Blackhawks. A lot of people didn't know that the Blackhawks came from Quality, but they some of the best characters you'll ever read about. I mean, if you've ever read any of the later renditions of the Freedom Fighters by, say, Nick Spencer or Jimmy Palmiotti, I think they just are a good combination of characters for group comic books. So this is a reference book. It's not just a magazine. So I'm eager to pick this up for that price of $31.95. And that covers it for me, I think, on this side as well. Oh wait, I do have one more. I'm sorry, I'm up
Well,
to
while you're
three.
finding on 386, I usually just buzz right past the manga section, but on page
Yeah.
386, guess what? We have another ad for bags and boards.
Oh my God.
That's number 4. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They don't even
I'm
have a
annoyed all
manga
over again.
size.
I feel your pain because it
Oh
just
yeah,
is crazy.
yeah.
Okay, so I've never heard of W.W. Norton as a publisher. This is on page 373, and there's a book called American: A History of Comic Books, or A History of Comics, and it looks like it goes back way beyond the traditional, say, the 1930s to the present. It goes more in it, not just comic books per se, but when they were just strips and panels of comics, and maybe political comics. So that might be interesting. It's not the first time it's been solicited, but it's called the American A History of Comics. So that was it for me.
Chad, you got anything else on side 1?
Nope. I'm ready for the flip.
Flip. All right. Did I already flip? Oh no. Okay. I'm sorry. I have one more thing on side 1. I thought this was on side 2. So in apparel for Animal Crossing fans, which I know there are a lot of them out there.
What page?
I'm on page 420. Yeah,
Okay.
there are these Animal Crossing T-shirts. One is the periodically crossing white shirt. So I assume you have a lot of the characters from Animal Crossing in a periodic table of the elements format. And then there's also Animal Crossing Tom Nook Forever Alone, and I think he's like the bank guy in Animal Crossing. I haven't played it, but I have a son who's into it, so these are probably things that I might grab one of these for him just to see if he's interested or not. Oh, and then I shouldn't have flipped the page because guess what's on the next page?
Another bag
Another
and board.
bag and board advertisement.
You can't get.
Sorry. All right. Side 2. Sorry. And I have nothing on side 2. So
I got a couple of things.
This is your show, Shad, the side 2 show, because I don't have anything either.
Okay, on page 36, there are some new vinyl figures they're called mini epics. They have them for the Dark Crystal. They have Jin and Kira, which they look pretty good for a $40 price point. If you're into the Dark Crystal, I like those a lot. And then below that, I'm not as big of a Labyrinth fan, but they do have some Labyrinth figures as well. On there, if you're not as much into the Funko kind of style, but like a vinyl figure that has some detail to it, I like those a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely like those better than Funko, but I'm still not going to pull the trigger on those.
No.
I can't do it.
And then this one also pricey, but nice to look at. On page 42, there's a Star Wars Return of the Jedi Battle of Endor Little Rebels Art FX Artist Edition diorama. So it's a whole scene of a gaggle of Ewoks. I don't know what you call a group of Ewoks, but we're gonna go with the gaggle for today. Taking down an AT-AT or an ATST. Sorry.
ST. Yes, thank you for the correction.
And they're just all over it. So it's pretty cool. Little set there. I don't see a bunch of diorama sets like that where they have a whole scenery. But $200 on that, so I don't love it that much.
Well, it's Kodabakaya, who I was waited a long time to pull the trigger on a Captain America statue.
Okay.
And it was a Kodabakaya Captain America statue that I finally pulled the trigger on. So they're usually pretty good quality.
Good. Okay.
And on page 57, another ad for bags and boards.
And that's all I've got.
All right. What about you, Mike? You good? Nothing else you want to mention?
No, I'm good, buddy.
You good? All right. Well, we've done it. We've managed to wade through another catalog of previews.
So as all always, of the ads for bag and boards.
And all of the ads. I'm looking to see if there's any more. I'm still flipping. I'm bound and determined just to complain one more time.
I want that in the show notes. All the page numbers of the bags and boards.
But anyway, so Shad, where could they find you if they wanted to reach out to you?
They can find me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Shad Schubert. That's SHAAD SCHUBERT.
And Mike?
Mike would like to give his email address.
There we go.
Are you sure?
It is, yes, I'm sure. I'm not as worried about. My email address is m.atchison, ATCHISON 90 @gmail.com. So if anybody just wants to drop a line, feel free.
And then I guess you're going to show up on some other podcasts. Is that true? Are the rumors true?
Oh boy. Well, I'm afraid to say it and jinx it, but I have been invited to be on or serve as a guest on Peter Rios's of CGS fame and his own show of the Daily Rios, which has basically been around for 10 or 11 years, I believe. He's one of those godfathers of podcasting, a podfather, you might say.
Nice.
But he and I had struck up a correspondence a couple years ago, back and forth, and it just so happened that I got the opportunity to be on one of his Daily Rios podcasts. It's basically this digest format is where there are 5 segments, one for each day of the week or the 5 work days of the week. And this particular segment is the Timeline Tuesday, where we talk about any anniversaries of October of 2021, going back 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked about doing that, and hope I didn't just jinx myself and it's a complete bomb or it doesn't actually happen, but I think we're going to do it. And it's a really good podcast regardless. Peter Rios knows what he's doing. So yeah.
So you're saying it's a little bit more professional than what we do here.
But I think it's an evolution. I think we're still kind of the new guys. I mean, we're new at our trade, and I think we don't set the expectation so high that people go, well, that's not what I thought it was going to be. They're like, oh, those 3 guys like comics. Okay, that's cool.
Nothing like putting you on the spot, eh?
No kidding.
All right, I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at burgcomics.com, burgcomics.com, and that has links to my Facebook and eBay store and all the fun things. There's also a Berg Comics buy sell trade page where I post things for sale. So if you actually are looking to buy something from me, don't buy it off of eBay. Send me a message either on Facebook or Instagram, or email me at admin@burgcomics.com, and I can work out a better price for you. So that's about going to cover it for the October 2021 previews catalog, and we will be back with another episode soon. Okay, hour and 31.
There's my F troop salute.
Yeah.
Your mother.
That is the shortest preview episode I think we've ever had.
And it went
That's okay.
It went longer than I thought it was going to, but
I actually was even I was going back to pick out my most.
I forgot all about that. Well,
and I didn't want you had already.
No.
Okay, let's do it now. Yeah.
Let's do it now. Okay.
You want to edit it in? Okay. All right.
Yeah. I'll just leave in my screw up. I'm perfectly fine with that. So yeah, I even had some marked. I was doing the exact same thing. So since I messed up, I'll go first, unless somebody else really wants to go first.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I think the book that I am most looking forward to at this point would probably be Echo Phoenix Song number 3, because I am just interested to see what they do with Cahokia, see if that actually is going to tie into the Southern Illinois area or not. So I think that's what I'm definitely going to put on my order list and check that one out. So, Shad, do you have something you're most looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm very interested in the Daisy number 1, the cannibalistic giants from heaven. So yeah, that one's high on my list.
Okay, I think I added that back to my. That was like on what, page 82?
82. Yep.
82. That was from Image.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. Okay. I didn't. I thought I added that back into my notes, but I didn't. Oh. I'm typing that in now. All right, Mike, what are you looking forward to?
I am definitely looking the most forward to Tales of Mother Effin' Goose.
Just Mother F Goose. It's
okay.
Get it right.
You want me to record that again? Okay, I'm looking.
That's all right.
Another F on that.
We've already thrown professionalism out the window, so
I can't wait for that. Just, I mean, the cover image, the whole thing is perfect. It's by Aftershock, so yeah.
Yeah, they have this. What is it? The Scarface homage and the Pulp Fiction homage covers on that one.
Yes.
Which reminds me of another book that is available for sale at Muddy Monster. There's an issue of Incredible Hulk where they has She-Hulk on the cover in the Pulp Fiction poster pose, and I was surprised how much that book is selling for. So, so if that's a book you're looking for, it as of Friday, it was on the shelf at Muddy Monster. So, all right, money books. What you got, Shad? What do you got?
Money book. I know it's the second go at it, but I think Stray Dog still has some gas in it. Because I think even the last issue of the main series was still a pretty good book as far as investment goes. So I'm gonna go with the Stray Dogs Dog Days issue 1.
Mike, you got a money book?
I do. I hope I'm not taken away from anyone else, but X-Men number 6. Whatever happened to Captain Krakoa?
Okay.
So, it seems like an interesting concept that maybe could be considered a first appearance. The personification of Krakoa. So, there was a couple other options I had, but I'm going with this one.
All right. Well, you want to throw out your other options? That's fine.
The other one was probably one I don't want to take it from you. It was it was Magic number 9.
Yeah, no, that's not I had that on my list, but I have a couple others as well. And I am going to mock you for choosing Captain Krakoa for your pick, but then I also would mock you for having picked Noctera number 1, which I thought this is the stupidest idea for a comic I've ever heard. The semi truck going through the apocalypse, the Scott Snyder one, right. And somebody picked up that thing. So it's like really.
That's awesome.
Oh boy!
So
people are hurting for.
I guess so. We're desperate for ideas. I don't know. So maybe Captain Krakoa is it. So
all right.
Well, I think you got to look at Batman 118 and 119.
With the Abyss,
especially since we don't know if it's an organization. Is it an individual? Is it both? Is it neither?
That's a good point. Yeah.
So I think those are worth considering. Star Wars Crimson Reign, the first issue of that 5-issue series, and maybe some other books subsequently in that series. You get some random bounty hunter that shows back up for the first time. They talk about the return of some fan favorites. So there could be, the popular character for Star Wars pops up for the first time.
And then they're in Book of Boba, or something crazy after that.
And then I did have Magic 9 down there as well. So, all right. So there we go. So end number 2, you've already got our information. So we'll just wrap it up right here unless anybody has any other closing thoughts or anything else I forgot to do this episode.
Not at all.
Nope.
No, sir.
All right. So now we mean it this time. We will talk to you next time.
I really like the feed thing in Facebook, the way that it looks on their posts that they're pulling in. Have you seen the post on them yet?
We've only posted one in the campus comics. It showed up on my phone. One time, and I never saw it again.
Oh.
So I'm going to the feed right now, and I'm going to the campus comics page right now, and I don't see anything about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. So
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I see it right now. Actually, I'm going to share it because I realized that I hadn't shared it yet. Yeah, and because you can play it straight from the post. That's what I think so cool about it.
When you say you're going to the campus comics page, you mean the Muddy Monster Comics page?
No, the Campus Comics Cast. Yeah.
Campus Comics Cast page.
Oh, okay.
Did you actually see it in the feed?
Yeah, it's got like the little rounded corners with the logo, and then it's got like a bouncing white ball kind of behind it.
I wonder if because I'm blocking ads, it's not showing up.
Oh, those dreaded ad blockers.
See if it shows up now.
Oh, it's playing. I clicked on it to play it.
It does not. It still doesn't show up for me.
Weird.
Are you a page admin on the Campus Comics Cast page?
No.
Oh, well, I probably should fix that. Maybe that's why I'm not.
It could be.
Because, okay.
Yeah, is it right that I only see?
Okay. Oh, okay. So if you click podcast on the left,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's not it either. It says published, but then whenever I unpublish, I don't want to remove it. Yeah, I don't see. I don't see it. Huh.
Yeah, it's because it's the very first thing that I see.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can look at the page without being logged in. Now I'm curious.
Or you can go to my page personally because I just shared it, so it's probably top thing.
I don't want to log in. Let's see here. Campus Comics. No rating. Campus Comics cast. See, even I'm not even logged in. I don't see the. I just see my posts. I don't see. Weird. That is very, very, very weird. Okay, let me look at your page then. Let me go back. See what I did see you just shared it. Yeah, okay, so there's the audio, but it just takes me straight to the. Oh, and it keeps playing whenever I close it. Yeah, it showed up for me one time on the phone. I never saw it on the website. Huh. So
Yeah, I like that because it pulls in your note, like your show notes for it, like as the post, like it copies that in there.
yeah, I saw it one time.
It kind of has a little graphic behind it, so it kind of is appealing to the eye to say, look at this.
Yeah, it does not show it for me at all. That's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.